Hello friends, I am Dr. Mayur Patil. I am working as Assistant Professor and Head in the Department of Botany. In this video, we will be talking about few topics from chapter number 1st of FYBSc, that is Plant Sciences. So, first topic is what is plant science? Okay, plant science literally means the study of plants. Means in plant science, we study every aspects of the plant. Every aspect is being studied in the plant science. It is also known as botany, and it is very vast and dynamic field of biology. Means it is a branch of biology which deals with study of plants. Here in plant science, we study in-depth knowledge of plant life, ranging from its molecular, cellular structure and also its interaction with the environment. Plant life or plant science explores everything about the plants, like from the germination of the plants, from its vegetative growth, from its reproductive growth, then fruit formation and last to the senescence. Means in plant science we study the multi-dimensional uses of the plants in every aspect. Now in second topic, we will study different subfields of the plant science. There are tremendous or lots of subfields of plant science which exist, and we will study it one by one. First, plant morphology. Subfield means branches of the plant sciences. First is plant morphology. Now let us discuss what is plant morphology. See, morpho literally means the external form. Okay, so plant morphology means what? The study of external form and structure of the plants. Means how plant externally looks, how its roots are, how its stem is, how its leaves are, means how the plant externally looks. All these things are studied in the plant morphology. There are tremendous diversity exist in the plant morphology, like there are different types of root systems, there are different types of leaves like simple leaves, compound leaves, even in compound leaves, pinnately compound leaves, palmately compound leaves. Means there are different types of leaves based on their morphology. So all the aspects of this external forms are studied in plant morphology. Even the morphology of flower is studied, morphology of plants, morphology of fruits is also studied. Okay, so this is the first discipline or first subfield of the plant science. Second is plant anatomy. So what is plant anatomy? It is exactly opposite to plant morphology. In morphology we study external features, whereas in plant anatomy we study the internal structures of the plants. Means how the plant internally looks. So how will we going to study this anatomy? We have to take the sections of the different parts of the plants, like we have to take the sections of the root, sections of the stem, sections of the leaves. Okay, so all these aspects are studied under the subfield of the plant science, which is known as plant anatomy. Then let us discuss about third subfield of the plant science, that is plant physiology. Now what is plant physiology, or in general what is physiology? Physiology is the study of important vital processes of organisms. And if we talk about plant physiology, the organism becomes plant. Means in plant physiology what we study internal important processes which are occurring in the plant, such as photosynthesis. We know that photosynthesis is very important process which occurs in the plant and which is responsible for maintenance of this life. So this photosynthesis, this respiration, and even the nutrient uptake, there are different types of nutrient uptake, ascent of sap. So all these physiological processes, all these metabolic processes are studied in this subfield of the plant science, which is known as plant physiology. So we know that photosynthesis is the ultimate process, or you can say it is the process which is responsible for survival of all living organisms. It is a process by which plants synthesize their food, which is available for all the human beings or even all the organisms, and all organisms survive because of this photosynthesis process. So this photosynthesis is very important process and is studied under the subfield which is known as plant physiology. Then after that, plant biochemistry is another subfield or another branch of plant science. So what plant biochemistry does? Plant biochemistry, it focuses on the chemical processes and the molecules which are involved in plant life. Means at the molecular level, at the micro level, what type of molecules are involved. For example, the study of proteins, the study of DNA, the study of RNA, all these biomolecule study comes under the field which is known as plant biochemistry. So it is also again one of the important branch of the plant sciences. It also includes the study of primary and secondary metabolism. You know that all these metabolites like proteins, carbohydrates and fats, these are considered as a primary metabolite because they are very much important for the survival or growth of that plant. So they are termed as primary metabolites. Secondary metabolites, there are different secondary metabolites like flavonoid, alkaloid, tannins, phenols. These are secondary metabolites. So all these metabolites, all these molecules are studied in this subfield which is known as plant biochemistry. After that, next subfield of plant science is plant genetics. So it's very interesting branch of the plant sciences. It deals with what? It deals with heredity and variations which are present in the plant. So it's very important branch of plant science where what is studied? The heredity. Heredity means what? If we try to define the heredity, it is the transmission of characters from parent to offspring. The characters which are transferred from parent to offspring, the study of that is termed as heredity. Even if the characters are transferred from parent to offspring, there exist different variations among the organisms. Even the father and sons are not exactly alike. There exist certain variations. So all these variations are also studied in case of plants also. So genetics is not only related to plants, not only related to animals, it is related to all the organisms. So if we study in case of plant, it becomes plant genetics. So if we study genetics of plant, it is plant genetics. If we study genetics of even human beings, then it becomes human genetics. So it like this. So basically what is important here is the study of heredity and variations. Okay. Even the genetic engineering, which is the recent aspect in the plant genetics, which is very much important for the crop improvement, means there is a need of improved crop variety. It is a need of our for this generation because the population is increasing in very alarming rate, and for the sustenance of that population, to feed that population, increase in food production is very important, and for that improved plant varieties are very much important. So through genetic engineering, we are able to improve the variety of the plant so that they will produce large production or high crop yield is produced through that varieties. Next plant discipline is, or the subfield is, plant breeding. Again, it is also related somewhat to the plant genetics, but here what is done? Here you might have heard the word hybridization. So in plant breeding, hybridization is practiced. What is hybridization? It simply means genetic crossing of genetically dissimilar plants to produce improved varieties. So in plant breeding, it is again one of the important subfield of the plant science where improved varieties of plants with high crop yields are produced through the process of hybridization. And how the hybridization is done? Hybridization is done with crossing, means cross pollination is practiced. There are skilled professionals which are known as plant breeders who do all these practices of plant breeding. So it is again one of the important subfield of the plant science. Then next subfield is plant pathology. Even in plant breeding, crops are produced so as to produce the increased yield, disease resistance and even the climate resilience. Means these characters can also be introduced in the plants through the plant breeding technique. Next is plant pathology. Then in plant pathology, which is also known as plant phytopathology, it is the study of plant diseases. Means what type of diseases are there on the plants and their causes, their processes and their control. For example, downy mildew of grapes is a disease which occurs on the grapes. There are brown rot is also a disease. So What are the causal organisms of these diseases? There might be certain fungi, there might be certain bacteria which cause these diseases on the plants and which which indirectly affect the crop yield. So in this subdiscipline, the diseases are studied so that the plant are protected and they are studied for the diseases. So this is again the discipline. Next is your plant ecology. So what is there in plant ecology? Plant ecology examines the interrelationship between the plants and their environment. Okay, means what this is also very important subfield. What we study in ecology? In ecology, we study the interrelationship of plants and the surrounding environment. Means how no organism can live in isolation in this world. We have to rely on other organisms, on other factors for our survival. For example, take the example of human being. We have to rely on plants for our survival because we take oxygen from them, we take food from them. We can't live in isolation. We can't say that we don't need plants because they are there, therefore our existence is there. Therefore, every organism has to rely on other organism or even in the physical environment. So what is studied in this subfield in plant physioecology? The interrelationship of the plants, in our case because we are studying plant ecology, and the environment in which that plant lives. Means the sunlight is there, then the water is there, soil is there. These factors also contribute for the survival of the plants along with other living organisms. So these aspects are studied in the plant ecology. Then next subdiscipline is plant systematics or taxonomy. So literally the meaning of taxonomy is the collection, description, identification and classification, and last the nomenclature of plants. Means every plant has a name which is a unique name, which is a scientific name, which is given through the technique which is known as binomial nomenclature, which consists of two parts. One is genus, another is species, which is called as generic name and specific name. Every organism, every plant consists of two parts. Like for example, if we take the example of mango, the scientific name of mango is Mangifera indica. So Mangifera here is the generic name, indica is a specific name. So every organism has two names and these names are given based on certain assumptions, certain criteria, certain rules. All these things are studied in this subdiscipline which is known as, or subfield which is known as plant systematics or taxonomy. It's very important and it is very basic field of plant sciences. Then next subfield is horticulture. Here we study the garden plants, the fruit plants, the orchids, the ornamental plants, all these plants which are important from commercial point of view. All these plants are studied in this subfield which is known as horticulture. Next subfield is agronomy. So what is agronomy? It is the application of plant science to the crop production. Means here how crops are produced. Important crops, cash crops are there like your nagli, jowari, bajri. All these crops are produced through the different techniques, and what type of information, what type of knowledge is needed, that is given through the study of this agronomy. Okay. Next is paleobotany. Next subfield is paleobotany. What is paleobotany? Here we study the plant fossils. So what are plant fossils? Plant fossils are the impressions of the plants which are buried very long 1000 years ago. So what we study in this, the fossil plants, and from that we are able to trace the ancestors of the current plants. So this fossil study is very important in case of plants also. It is studied also in case of animals, but in case of plant it is also studied, and it provides very important information how the plant evolution has taken place, what type of changes are there, what type of changes have been there in the plant since the time immemorial. So how the plants changed, how their characters changed. So all this study is done through the fossils, and which help us to know all these important concept related to plant evolution. Economic botany is next subfield which focuses on plants with economic values, means which has a very important economic value. Like if you see the dry fruits, okay, they are very costly and they are sold in market at very high rates. So such crops which are economically very important, like saffron is there, okay, so they are very important, like spices plants are there, so they are very important economically. So in this subfield of botany, the economically important plants are studied. Next subdiscipline is ethnobotany. Now what is ethnobotany? It explores the traditional knowledge and use of plants by indigenous culture. Means what? The tribal people, the rural people, how they use the plants, what type of interrelationship exists between them and the plants, means use of plants by tribal people. We know that in tribal region there are some people who has knowledge regarding, too much knowledge or very depth knowledge regarding the use of plants as a food, as a medicine, even for the different purposes plants are used. Okay, for construction of houses also plants are used. It also comes under the ethnobotany. So all this traditional knowledge is studied in this subfield which is known as ethnobotany. Then next subfield is forestry. Okay, so here what is being studied in this subfield? In this subfield, it is the science and practice of managing the forest. Okay, for timber production, for the conservation of different endangered species, critically endangered species, even for the other benefits. There are certain other subfields also, like phycology, which is the study of algae, bryology, which is the study of bryophytes, then palynology, which is the study of pollen grains. These are the subfields of the plant sciences. So in this topic, what we learnt is, we studied about the definition of plant science, which is actually the study of all the aspects of the plant. In next topic, we study different subfields of the plant sciences, where we explored all the subfields, and in the short, and we studied all the subfields of the plant sciences. And in this way, I hope you will understand all these things. Okay, so I am very much thankful for patient listening. Thank you very much.